As far as the other part of it, shortly, I'm going to say after the breakdown moment, after I listened to the silence for about a year and a half, I started to have visitors, let's say visitors, come into my presence. And I still am not aware of who they are or what they are, but they would show up as lights in the darkness when I was trying to fall asleep. They would show up as lights in um the bedroom in the darkness. And when I would wake up in the morning, I would start to have downloads that looked like scrolling. It looked like the old computers. You know how the old computers,
Yes,
when they'd
I
show
do.
them and they'd scroll?
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was the scrolling. And it would just scroll and scroll, same thing over and over for months. And then I started getting different shapes and different figures and different numbers and different symbols. And I wrote them all down in a book as much as I could, because they go so fast and they only give you a flash. And, I'm purely a puny human. So I don't know, how to write that stuff down. But anyways, I did. And then the lights started getting bigger and they started showing me patterns. And they weren't always then just in my bedroom. They would be in the bathroom, anywhere where it was dark. Like I'd get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and they'd show me a pattern of lights, or they'd show me this or that. And so I started talking to them and interacting with them and, just because I wasn't afraid. But then I also did set boundaries and say, you may only come if you are from God or of source or from positive energy. I do not allow any negative energies in my space ever. So if you're not from that source, or from that, then you must go. And they never went. So I'm assuming they're on the good team. But and I can call them in now. They don't automatically show up, but I can call them in now and I can still see them and I can still, make my hand make circles and they'll make a circle, or a light will move and I'll say, come closer, and they'll come closer, and all of that. And I don't really understand what that means or why it's there, but I know that energetically we're working together somehow. And then the scrolling stopped and I started to not be able to stay awake. I mean, if I would go to bed at night and put my head on the pillow and start to thank the universe, immediately like a black cover would come over my face and I'd be out for 8 hours solid. 8 hours solid, not move. So I assumed I was going somewhere, doing something. And this happened for a long, long time. And that's just started. I mean, I bet you that happened for over a year. That, the blackness. And I'm always feel safe. And I always say, remember, you're not allowed to scare me. You can come in, but you're not allowed to frighten me. You're not allowed to surprise me in a startling way. And you're not allowed, to be of negative energy or demonic or anything like that. So we're good. And then all that was going on. And then I started getting this feeling that I was supposed to go on a trip. Do you want me to go into all this too?
Yes, if you don't mind.
I was supposed to go to South Dakota. Now, I have Native American heritage, and I know that, but you can only go, in this world, you can only go back so far using books and genealogy because they didn't document all of that. So I was being called to go to South Dakota, to where the Lakota tribe is. And it just kept saying, you need to go to South Dakota. You need to go to South Dakota. I'm like, but I'm 68 years old. I'm not going to South Dakota by myself. And they're like, you're fine. You can do it. So I loaded up my car. I packed up the car. And at 68 years old, I drove across the country to South Dakota.
Wow, you drove there?
Yeah, by
Okay.
myself. And I got there. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm supposed to be here, but I'm supposed to be here. And that's all I know. So I got a little room and I stayed there, I think, for 5 days or something. And The first place I went was this little hotel, and I walk in the door, and the woman is bald. And I'm like, well, this is one reason I'm supposed to be here. I was supposed to talk to her about my journey. She had just finished her chemo and she was just, so I had told her about everything. And I said, I really don't know why I'm supposed to be here, but I'm supposed to talk to you. So I talked to her and I saw her a couple times after, and, I felt really good about that. Well, then I started driving out day trips. I would go on just day trips around to the little places, because there were a few things that were kind of interesting. I was really close to Mount Rushmore, and I was really close to the Black Hills and all of that. So I would take day trips and I'd go to these little towns. Well, this one day I went to this little town called Hill City. And I walk into this rock shop. She's got rocks, and actually I got this ring there. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes.
It's a moonstone. I got this moonstone there. And this woman behind the counter says, ma'am, do you mind if I talk to you for a minute? And I said, no, not at all. She says, well, I'm a medium and I'm supposed to tell you something. I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm like excited. She's like, you're supposed to go to Deerfield Lake. I said, okay. I said, how far is that? She says, it's not far. Just put it in your GPS. It'll take you there. It's, just a few miles away. So I got in the car, I got the GPS going, and I went to Deerfield Lake. And it took me to the backside of the lake, not to the campground or where everybody was. It took me to a remote part of this campground where there were picnic tables and ruts in the road and all of that. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go. I'm supposed to be here. So I did. Pulled in, parked the car, went to get out of the car, and I couldn't do it. The energy was so heavy and so strong that I shook. I couldn't get out of my car. And I'm like, this is weird. But anyways, I said, okay, you're fine. You're fine. You're protected. You can do this. Get out of the car. So I settled myself and got out of the car. Couldn't stand up. Had to hold on to the car.
Oh, wow.
The energy was just so, I would probably know more now what it was, but then, it was the very beginning of all of this. And I said, you're fine. You're protected. You're fine. You've been sent here. You're good. So finally I'm good. And so I walk around the car and I go out to where the campground is. And I'm just standing there looking, there's little flowers, little pine cones, a bunch of pine trees and picnic tables and stuff. And I look down and I notice that there's an X in the grass. The grass had been blown one way and then the opposite way, and it made an X right in the grass. And the blow, it was it was like, I don't know, 10 or 12 feet, this X. And I'm like, well, that's funny. So I took off my shoes and I stood in the X because that's what I felt like I was supposed to do. And I got the most peaceful, calming feeling, and the wind started to blow a little bit, and it was very peaceful. And then I hear, okay, you can go home now. Like, what? Because, you in your mind, I hear this. It's like, okay, you can go home now. And I'm like, I don't know what just happened, but okay. So I walked around the lake a little bit, took little pictures. It started to rain, got in my car, went back to the hotel. And I still am trying to figure out exactly what that's about. But I feel like it was about me listening to what the universe was telling me. I feel like it was just listening and being open to what was there from, you know what I mean? But I think it was about listening. So,
wow, I love it.
So then after that is when one day I woke up with my other gift.
Oh, wow. Do you want to share anything about it, or?
Well, I can, but, and I'd be glad to speak for you. Yeah. And I asked this morning when I was, talking to the universe and my guides and things to give me the words, because a lot of this isn't coming from me. You know what I mean? It's wisdom that flows through me. A lot of this is not
Yeah.
me. it's coming from something much higher than myself. And thankfully, I'm allowed to share that with you from them through me. That's the way I look at it. I don't really believe it's me.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
that's when you can tell you are true.
it's a part of me. It's just not me. But anyways, I just woke up one day and I could speak this language. I don't even know how I first discovered that I could speak it. Um, I don't even know. I think I was just, I call them my friends that show up in my bedroom or anywhere else. I think I was just talking to my friends and all of a sudden I could speak it.
That's how it
So
came out.
I don't really know. Um, and so yeah, I really don't know. And I don't know how it happens now, but I know that it's always with me and that I speak it outdoors a lot because I feel like I'm to speak to the earth
I love
more
that.
more than to humans. Feel like I'm to speak to the earth because that's where I've come from and that's where yeah.
Yeah.
But I do both. And there are also, I do believe that this is probably native from some culture, whether
Mhm.
it be Native American or native, other native, I don't know. But
Or maybe even more ancient native.
yes,
Who knows?
yes,
I
yes,
felt the sense when, okay,
yeah.
it's absolutely shifting here, but yeah, we both work with the spirit and the spirit lambs, and I felt, and you even said that it might be a Lemurian. It was such a beautiful energy whenever you speak this language, and
Hmm.
I feel, for me, I started to speak light language too, but that was a very harsh. It was actually, I think, dragon language, and when it just came when my child was in a very, very bad state in a hospital. And so that things can trigger, but you develop the relationship with your helpers. And when you talk, it's such a nice flowing. Like when you describe the water that you like, it feels
Hmm.
like that to me
Yeah.
when you speak this light language.
Well, and I also, this is another place that I've set boundaries. Whatever this is that's coming through me must be positive. I will not allow it to be anything other than that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right.
Yes. Okay. So I just briefly explained for those who are new to this that light language is a form of energy, just like singing or dancing, just something very instinctual and ancient that is true, and words didn't distort it yet. And that's how I sense it. And it's such a beautiful, so you just want to sit in this energy. You can give permission to allow yourself to emerge in this, or you don't have to. So it's up to you. There's always, permission, and they have to keep the boundaries, again boundaries. So if you give your permission and just let yourself to be immersed in this beautiful shower, I don't know, just a light shower.
Ono shita made. Piko maina nidoto. Io doya. E te namaso ko magita. Paniero dole amaya ko pati shadani wa. E ne mono contaya tanio coderiera. Bononi de cachitida. Hinora batia o mania. E nemo koya te sho ta yi a. Kemoya na te kemoshoye. Penona ne haha. Heno te si tiro roma nya te kina nada da. Borora mania no kona mia chita na nia ha na noa. Mero donia tia. A te sonone ma piana yoda da sera babayo konda te ro te de jite. Ena, eno no kia hasa te o to. Ena mia te o. E sone aba ke o te maino no kota. Tashataya. Me odora ma. He o to se te monora mania te oke. A tiro mono osho. He neno mo kona la yendo no ne ne osho de da ba ya ka ni mo de osho tita. Pa konam ya. He no ne ka de mo nyoti na masa. Ho tania teo onde. He sanakanya. Patieno mea neno mona nye ede. He o asa. He ono chite da 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 toko. Ha manya. He mo danyi toko da da hi. Hosanam yatora manyotokonia haja e. He nada veo ote. E no shana makanyo te de shona ya dai. Ina po kame no dia a te shona de rabate. Ah, se kane veo hora te. Haramo no mona me ya ya kane yo te sina. E no yotora mi ando no gira kanya. E sono me yo kona matiata yo koka yo koke kero pota pete tiro so. Anamani otura me ano ya ya. He manya de gone anya ya so tani ama de oa. He do kona ma ya te dora ma ya ya. He no no kaya no atia. He anamo ya te anayata.
Wow. I I felt it so much. So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Though that is not me. That's just me.
Being a
Allow.
hollow bone.
Yeah. Yeah. And if anyone wants to know, I have no idea what I said.
Well, you can feel it.
But you can feel it. Yeah.
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 And you know, that was quite different than normal. When I'm speaking here at home, that was quite different. So that was meant for whoever's listening.
Yes, I
Because,
believe so.
yeah.
I loved it. It was so deep. I don't want to overanalyze everybody, just analyze yourself if you want, but
Yeah.
more like just follow your heart and your instincts with this. And I think it's a beautiful way to close, but I would like to know if people want to find you or your beautiful little shop or anything like that, any
Well,
contacts or emails.
I was gonna try and have that ready for you. But and how about I send it to you and you can link it?
Yes, and I will
Because
put it in the
that would be
description.
better. I ask that this be a bridge or a pathway or whatever for my journey and for maybe others. So,
Yes, beautiful. We need that contact information so you can contact Deb. And she's a beautiful wise woman, as you could witness, and a beautiful healer and beautiful channel for light language and spirit and shamanic healing and knows about gems and all that good stuff. So yeah, if I didn't know, but now I have your permission, so I will share this.
yeah,
And
full
do
of.
you have a physical or you just go to the
No,
fairs
I
for them?
do have a physical store in
Okay.
Worcester.
I will need the address.
It's
Yes.
actually in a little antique emporium. So it's just pretty much a showcase. It's a glass case, but it's full of all my goodies. And I would also be willing to send via mail and that kind of thing if people wanted. So
Oh yeah, if you want beautiful crystals and beautiful stones,
yeah,
then yeah, okay,
yeah, I
that's
could do
another
that.
option.
So
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for sacrificing your time, your sacred
um,
time for this. I
sweet.
really enjoyed just listening to you and all this
Well,
wisdom.
thank you for having me. Like I say, I've known for a long while that I'm supposed to speak my truth and I just we've talked about this, Amisha, about how we receiving, how we feel we may be received, you know, with things as people call woo woo. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I think I'm not concerned about me, but I was concerned about how that would flow down to my children or my grandchildren. But I'm not anymore. So today is the beginning of the rest of my journey. you know, by me sharing this so publicly. So,
Yes. That's beautiful. I love it. I love
okay.
it. And I wish you the best
Well, thank you.
for everything. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my
Thank you.
God. Much love.
Much love.